So we've talked about this already on the show. What normally happens at the end of a primary is the person who wins the primary reaches out to the challenger and offers them something, usually a position of power inside their administration, in order for them to feel better and tell their supporters to come join us and support. That's usually what happens. What's been happening this time is that all the people, this is how it's been going. Hey, you fucking sexist Bernie bros, you assholes, when are you going to vote for us? Which is not the most effective kind of wooing. That's not really, there's another video on this channel that we just put up about all the ways, all the horrible things people were saying to Bernie supporters, trying to get them to vote for Hillary. You ever try, I don't know, kindness? You ever try that? You ever try to, I don't know, convince someone without fucking calling them names? That's not a good negotiation. You're a bad negotiator there. You're not really going to, you want to know how to do it? President Obama had a meeting with Bernie Sanders today, and so here's the president's secretary, and here's how he describes the meeting. Now, Bernie wasn't a jerk. He wasn't violent. He didn't brandish a chair. He wasn't sexist for staying in the race. He wasn't selfish. He didn't have a big ego. These are all things that are being said about Bernie Sanders right now. That that voting for Bernie is selfish. They didn't say any of that. So here's what Josh Earnest says about it. This is how he would prefer to frame it.
The president was pleased to have an opportunity to welcome Senator Sanders to the White House and congratulate him on the remarkable success that he enjoyed in the context of his campaign for the Democratic nomination for president.
Oh, so first we start off with the congratulations. That's how you started off? That's how when you're trying to sweet talk somebody to support you in November? First you start, hey, congratulations, you got to do a great job. Isn't that nice? Wow, kind of buttering me up, getting me ready to support you.
Senator Sanders competed in every state across the country and earned more than 10 million votes for his campaign. That's a remarkable accomplishment, and the president complimented him and congratulated him on his success. I think you could describe the...
You mean he didn't call him a name and tell him, get out, loser? He didn't go, math. He didn't get in his face when he walked in the Oval Office. Math, can't you guys do math? He didn't do that? You mean the president didn't do that when he's trying to get somebody to support his candidate? He didn't do that? That's weird, because that's what everybody on Twitter thinks that's the way to get people to support your candidate, is to be very dismissive and condescending. Apparently, that's what professional politicians don't do. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird how...
We'd like to congratulate this old stupid man for being able to stay awake this long.
There's more.
Conversation as a friendly conversation that was focused on the future. Part of that future conversation was about the importance of the upcoming general election. You've heard the president say on a number of occasions how important it is to him personally that he be succeeded in office by a president who is committed to building on the remarkable progress that our country has made over the last 7.5 years. So that certainly was an important part of the conversation, but it went beyond that. There also was a conversation about the long-term future of the Democratic Party. And Senator Sanders' campaign enjoyed so much success because he was able to inspire a lot of young people, both Democrats and independents, to support his campaign and to be engaged in the political process. That's a good thing.
You mean you wouldn't... It's weird he's not taking a dump on Bernie for leading his supporters on. It's weird. He's not taking a dump on him, saying, why are you giving them fault? It's not doing any of that stuff.
Yeah, but you got that subliminal crawl under there saying terminally ill patients can now take their own life.
Oh, yeah, that was in the crawl?
Yeah. So I think that's a hint for him to just off himself, maybe.
So isn't that weird? Well, let's see what else he has to say.
Obama and Senator Sanders had an opportunity to talk about what work they could potentially do together in the future to ensure that the Democratic Party of the 21st century is diverse and vibrant and inclusive.
Oh, you mean they actually talked about working together on common goals? That's just so weird. I mean, he didn't call him a Bernie bro. He didn't say, why are you being so sexist running a campaign against a nice lady? That's so weird. That's so weird how they had like a mutually respectful conversation. They both acknowledged each other's accomplishments. Isn't that something?
Maybe they're both sexist.
I think maybe they both are, because Barack Obama ran against
That's
Hillary.
right. That's
so
right.
He was already a sexist, because he not only did he run against her, he was such a jerk. Barack Obama beat her.
Yeah.
At least Bernie's being nice to her. He's letting her. Right now, she's in the lead. So isn't that nice? She's in the lead all the way till the indictment.
He's being a gentleman.
He's being a gentleman. Whereas Barack Obama totally crushed her. That wasn't talk about being an Obama bro. So turns out maybe that's a better way to get supporters. You congratulate them on they've done. Hey, let's work together. You've brought people into the party. This is great. These are all great things you've done, and you've been super successful. That's such a different way than how people are talking to Bernie supporters online. Could not be more dismissive. Even Nate Silver making jokes, poking fun. Hey, the Bernie's, it's not over for Bernie. East Montana hasn't come in yet. That's what he says. He's making jokes like that.
That's hilarious.
He's hilarious.
Well, there's still 500,000 votes in Los Angeles County that haven't been counted yet
Yes,
either.
there's millions of votes that haven't been counted in California. Anyway, does he have any more to say?
That's been a long-stated goal of President Obama, and obviously President Obama had his own success in building a coalition that involved a lot of young Americans and not all Democrats. Senator Sanders built on that progress, and they're hopeful that they'll be able to work together in the future, not just at the national level, but also at the state and local levels as well.
Wow. Kind of a different tone you're hearing from Mr. Professional Politician than you're hearing from every jagoff in the world who isn't. I don't know. I thought that was pretty good. By the way, another thing people are constantly saying is, why doesn't Bernie get out? Get out now. Everybody's like, now, get out, get out, get out, get out. Everybody, why did you drop out? Why are you doing this? Andrea Mitchell revealed herself to be the opposite of a journalist when she said, why are you still running against Hillary? It's 2-on-1 now. She said that. So when should he drop out? Now let's ask the President of the United States spokesman. When should Bernie Sanders drop out? I mean, is he being sexist by still running? Is he a jerk for still running? Is he doesn't give a crap about the party because he's still running? Is he being a jerk to all the down ballot people because is he being a jerk? That's the whole meme of Bernie Sanders, is that he's selfish and he's being a jerk. Well, is he? Let's hear what the president's spokesperson has to say.
Senator Sanders has more than earned the right to make his own decision on his own time frame about the future of his campaign. And the president certainly respects the important work that Senator Sanders has done on the campaign trail. He certainly respects the strong support that he's built in all 50 states. And that means that Senator Sanders gets to decide what the future of his campaign looks like. I'll just point out, again, when Senator Sanders spoke to all of you after...
So there you go.
Yeah. Where the hell was that during the last
Where was that
year?
been for the last, how about for the last 3 months? It would have been nice a couple of weeks ago if he said that, but at least he's saying it.
All of a sudden with his meeting, even Chris Matthews was waxing poetic.
Oh, really? Because now the president's
Yeah.
being nice to Bernie Sanders like he's supposed to be?
And everybody on MSNBC where they were just rhapsodic about him, They just...
I did see Chris Matthews talking a little bit about it. He certainly has changed his tone today. It of course, we
Wait a minute. Chris Matthews changed his tone?
a little bit today.
Yeah, he did.
What a surprise.
Right, of course. He's like the wind. Whichever way the power is blowing, he's going to go where power is blowing. He's going to blow power. And like Barack Obama. So Barack Obama said all these nice things about Bernie Sanders today. And so Chris Matthews was like, of course I'm with the guy who's powerful who said this. By the way, Barack Obama said that stuff about a guy who represents half of his party. About half of his party. That's who Bernie Sanders is. Is a guy who had zero name recognition 12 months ago to come from out of nowhere with no super PAC corporate money to get 46% of the pledged delegates in a Democratic primary. A lot of those closed primaries. That's a big deal.
For a kooky old man.
For a kooky old crazy fairy Dusty.
And I like the way he says it. He can decide the direction of his campaign.
Yes, he's earned that right.
Yeah, but he didn't say anything final about it.
No.
So open-ended and so curious.
No, of course. This is how you woo Bernie Sanders and his supporters to supporting you. Like this. You talk about the common ground. You compliment him. You say what a great thing you've done, how you've opened the party up to new people, just like Barack Obama, young people, people who weren't traditional Democrats. You've expanded our party. Thank you. Congratulations. Let's work together now because we have more in common than we don't. But then certainly than the Republicans. So now we've got to work together. Let's go forward. We all have the same goals. That's how you woo someone. That's how you do it. Not like the other video I showed you.
I read a Salon.com commentary yesterday saying that at this point in the campaign, this is where Bernie's advisors should take him out behind the barn and shoot him.
Salon.com?
Yeah, it was that kind of. This is where, in this in this stage of the campaign,
Senate.
your advisors usually take you out behind the barn and shoot you, to keep you from running.
Yeah, that Salon.com proved to be it's proven to be very hit and miss. Put it that way. It's proving to be very hit and miss. Could be an article ripped out of a Breitbart.com some days.
Why? Because his message doesn't matter any longer? What would be the point of taking... I know I'm taking it literally to shoot him back, behind the bar. But I still don't quite understand that purpose. How did they arrive at that conclusion? Because he no longer has a vision for what?
He's taking attention away from Hillary.
So,
of course, it's a metaphor, but it's a horrible metaphor. You don't use that kind of language for a very popular presidential candidate.
So here is one of my favorite female reporters from MSNBC, Chris Jansing, and let's hear what she has to say about all this, because she had something to say about it.
Campaign, all of these millions of people who have voted for him, 10.5 million, 1.5 million who have shown up and screamed for him at these rallies. How does he bring the skeptics into the fold? And he is committed to do that because he wants to remake the Democratic Party to a more progressive party. And to your point, I just said to this senior aide, this is a guy who until last year wasn't even a Democrat. And he said he signed that pledge last April 30th to run as a Democrat. He considers himself a Democrat, and he believes these young people and these independents are the key to a Democratic Party that going forward really represents these progressive ideals that have been so important to him and so important to his supporters. Brian.
So he signed a pledge last year and got into the Democratic race for the Democratic nomination. And his pledge was that he would be a Democrat. And he is. So, again, the guy of his word. Isn't that nice? Guy of his word. And he's shown that you can be a Democrat, and still stand up to the powerful, like the Democrats used to. This a guy. If there's anybody who's more of a Democrat than him, I'd like to see them, because there isn't. Unless what you consider a Democrat means is someone who's a lot like a Republican, because we have a lot of those. How many Democrats voted for the Iraq War, for F's sake?
I know one for sure.
I know one for sure. Anyway, so there you go. The guy is... he's fantastic.